Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Based on TV Month, where we're looking at The Addams Family from 1991. Uh, Interestingly enough, I thought I had already seen this growing up. Apparently, because I remember, because I was watching this, and I'm like, this plot doesn't. Where's Joan Cusack? Because I remember Joan Cusack being Uncle Fester's girlfriend or something. And I slowly realized that's the second one. So the one I had seen was Addams Family Values, which is weird because that one has the baby in it, and I didn't remember. I remembered the baby, but I don't know if it was from watching it or if it was from I don't know. But yeah, as you see, I have the DVD double feature back there, one and two. I will end up covering the other two sequels, the second one back there, and then the third one, Addams Family Values, with Tim Curry. Nah, it was on YouTube because it was directed the TV. But I have the VHS here of the movie, the McDonald's VHS. Tony from Hack the Movies, because he tried to order it, and they lied to him and they gave him a regular one. But I have, because I was watching his review with him and Newt, and he says that he was I don't know my side that he said that he tried to get the McDonald's one and they sent him the regular one, but I have this. It was gifted to me, a bunch of VHS tapes. I think this was one of the ones I actually found in a box downstairs, but yeah, you got this. And look at the VHS, a tape, Addams Family. Yeah, so the story is. So you don't know what the Addams Family is. Addams Family is a comic strip by Charles Addams. They were called something else, the Humdingers or whatever. I don't remember what it was called. They were called something else. They didn't have names until the TV show came along, and they were called the Addams Family. They all got names, and it was a hit for 2 seasons. It lasted about the same as the Munsters, actually, but the Munsters was received better, I guess. It also went up against Gilligan's Island, which there is a joke where Gomez is watching TV. Well, what about Gilligan or something like that? Yeah. Uh, I didn't really grow up. Like I said, I guess I watched the second one when I was younger. But I grew up with not that version, the black and white show. No, I grew up with this one, the cartoon. I would rent the VHSs from the video store, and I would watch the hell out of these. And I loved when they came out with this because I watched the hell out of these. These are, yeah, I remember the VHS. One of the VHS was Left in the Lurch, and then the other one, Ghost Town, I guess. I don't know, but I remember Left in the Lurch because that's one of the ones my grandma wrote on a VHS. She did the copy transfer thing. So yeah, that and the new Addams Family, which I guess was spawned from the Addams Family reunion, but the only cast member that came back for that was the actress who played Wednesday. And of course, I knew the episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies is the only episode to never be on DVD because of copyright. Even though they're both owned by Warner Brothers, but sure. So the story kind of steps away from what you traditionally know. Apparently, Uncle Fester has been missing for 25 years, which, yes, if you did the math, that would be since 1966, which is when the show was canceled. There was a Halloween special that brought everyone back, but in 1977, 11 years later. But anyway, this is not continuity with that because they imply that, because first of all, the kids are still kids. If this was any continuity with that, the kids would be older now. And they did something with that special, I don't know. But anyway, so Uncle Fester has been missing since then, and they've changed some things. In the TV show, Fester was Morticia's uncle or Gomez's uncle or something, and Grandmama was like Morticia's grandmother, but I don't know, just grandma. And he is Gomez's brother here. So Fester has been missing for 25 years. They've been trying to find him for 25 years. He went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. They've been trying to find him. Did nobody go to the Bermuda Triangle? I wonder. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't want to go there, but anyway. They have their lawyer, Tully, played by Dan Hedaya, who's always a villain in movies. Really. Commando and such. And he is trying to help them. But he comes across this woman. I forgot her name. Say on the back of the thing. No. Who has her son, her adopted son, wink, wink, but it's her son, Gordon, who is like her heavy. Looks remarkably like Fester. So they hatch a plan for Gordon to just pretend to be Fester so they can sneak in and steal the valuables from the Addams secret safe. Why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound so familiar? Why does that sound so familiar? A villain trying to steal from a vault. Why is that so familiar? Guess we'll never know. This is 1991, by the way, so technically Richard Rich stole the plot. So, but yeah, so this I love this movie. I loved this movie watching it, man. I have a few issues, small issues, but pacing and other things. The cast is fantastic. Gomez Addams is played fantastically by Raul Julia, who you may know from Street Fighter, and of course Frankenstein Unbound as Dr. Frankenstein. So yes, he will reprise the role in Addams Family Values, what would pass away shortly after. You know, that Street Fighter came out around the same time. Angelica Houston is great as Morticia. The one thing you need to have for Gomez and Morticia is their characters are always so wrapped up in romance. That's the other thing. You get the Tish, that's friends, cara mia. You gotta have that chemistry between the two leads, and they have it here. They're fantastic. You have Christina Ricci as Wednesday, and she's good. And then Danny Workman? Jimmy Workman. I just remembered. Jimmy Workman is Pugsley. He's alright. He doesn't get much to do. You got this thing, who is, I guess in the show, he was just like a creature in a box, and the hand would come out, but like, the version of this from this point on would be a walking hand. That's the version it would be. And I like that. Grandmama, she doesn't get much to do either. I always thought it was the same woman from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the witch lady from that. They scared the crap out of me, but it's not the same person. I also was like, isn't that supposed to be Carol Kane? Again, that was the second one, no. So, yeah. You have Lurch. The guy who plays Lurch, he's good, but they don't give really enough for him to do. Like, he doesn't speak. You don't even hear the, you rang, or nothing. He doesn't speak. But yeah, so, the only problem I have is Christopher Lloyd. I love Christopher Lloyd, and it's not really his performance. He's doing the best that he can. It's what they do with Fester. When I want to watch the Addams Family, I want to see the Addams Family. Fester does not act like Fester, because it's supposed to be someone else pretending to be Fester. So it's Gordon pretending to be Fester, and as the time goes on, he begins to kind of like living there, which adds to the twist at the end. we'll get to that twist because it feels tacked on because it was. But yeah. So like I said, Fester, he begins, staying there. The opening of this movie though is peak Addams Family to me. It starts out, I'm like, is this a Christmas movie? Because there's carolers, and they're singing Christmas carols, and I guess it's taken straight from the comics. They're standing all the way on top of their house, which, if you know, is a big house, big top thing, and they dump a bunch of tar on these things, and you could see the tar still laying on the ground next to the house throughout the entire damn movie. So, yeah. Murder? Yes, creature. Most likely. But, yeah. You don't get much of other creatures like a lion or stuff like that, or the octopus. I know there's octopus in the cartoon. I don't know if there's one in the live action one, but there was they had an octopus. Was it Octo or something? I do like what they do with Pugsley and Wednesday. They're playing their games, which is basically torturing each other. At one point, Wednesday has Pugsley hooked up to the electric chair, and it's going to electrocute him. I'm like, no. And Morticia comes in, she goes, okay, we don't have time for this, we have to go. Oh, come on, I was going to electrocute him. And even Pugsley's going, please. She's like, oh, all right. And Wednesday pulls it. I'm like, you guys are demented. It's implied that they're all already dead, though, because there's a scene where her and Gomez are talking, and it's like he proposed to her after her funeral. What? She's dead? And like the Addams Family are different from the Munsters, where they are just weird people. The Munsters are actually monsters. It's in the name. But here, they're just weird, eccentric people. Oh, I also like the stage performance they do for the talent show, where Pugsley and Wednesday are pretending to slash each other with swords, and you get actual fake blood. But this messes with the lady's plans, because Fester was supposed to stay behind, or Gordon was supposed to stay behind, so they can look for the vault. But he went against that and went with the family to the performance to make sure everything went all right. And that made her mad. So, yeah. She decides, okay, this is not working, so we're going to make up this excuse. Fester has to go back to the Bermuda Triangle for some reason, and so like, okay, we're going to throw a goodbye party for you, a farewell party. There is scenes of Gomez trying to kind of make Fester remember stuff, but he can't, and then he becomes concerned, and then even at one point, Wednesday also becomes concerned about what was really going on, and it's eventually revealed that because she's shaving his head, even though Fester's supposed to be born with no hair, but he's got hair. I don't know. Because this, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It doesn't make any sense because it was tagged on. We'll get to it. So she discovers that he's a fake, and tries to tell them. But we have this party. She's not able to tell them until we have this party that's going on. This is when they decide to try to look for the fault, and that's when she catches him. That's right. But it's at this party we meet Cousin It, and Cousin he's cucking Tully's wife. As soon as he walks in, he's like, ooh, and immediately goes for her and then never lets go. Cousin It, of course, is my favorite character next to Fester, and Cousin It is played by John Franklin from Children of the Corn, not Deep Roy Newt Wallen. Yes, yes, I'm calling Nude out. I watched it. I know he's not on Hack the Movies anymore, but I was watching the review and he's like, it's Deep Roy. And I'm like, no, it's not. Wikipedia has it. Like he said he watched something with it. Maybe he was a stunt performer or something, but it's John Franklin. He even does the voice. So everywhere I look said John Franklin, so I don't know. I'm like, maybe he looked at the wrong thing, like it was for a reunion, but that was what's his name? Tip my tongue. Phil Fondacaro did it in reunion, so I don't know. No. Cousin It. With 2 T's, 1 T here, but Cousin It. My favorite characters. He's cucking this guy. But at this point, Dan Hedaya does not care. Totally does not care. He just wants to get that money. Well, you got to have money. Yeah. So he realizes, through a conversation he is having, that Fester is the older brother. Therefore, he would have first dibs on the Addams home. That's not how legalities work, but fine. So they kick the Addams out of their home, and it's, so that Fester has it and they can break into the vault. Now, this is where the movie kind of slows down for me. Because to me, he's like, oh, we're going to go to court and we'll get this fixed. But the judge is the guy that lives across the street that Gomez has been accidentally messing with. So he finds in favor of Fester. Then they just sort of waste time. Now the Addamses have to get real jobs, also for Gomez, who stays home watching Gilligan's Island. I did laugh at Morticia. She's a school teacher for little children. She tells the story of Hansel and Gretel, but frames the witch as the hero. Like, oh, the poor witch gets pushed into the oven and burned alive. And I love how the kids start crying. It's so macabre. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I don't remember what Wednesday and Plugs are doing, but you get this little Girl Scout girl played by Mercedes McNabb, who's also in the second one, but I think she's a different character. Would you like to buy Girl Scout cookies? And she's like, are they made from real Girl Scouts? That's very much in the character. But but yeah, eventually Gomez has enough. No, it's Morticia that has enough. She goes to talk to Fester, but then it ends up being a hostage. And so then Gomez is forced to come and show them how to get into the vault. Keep in mind, one of the first things that happens when Gomez gets to the house is he gets taken straight, or what? Not Gomez. When Fester gets to the house, he's taken straight to the vault. He knows how to get into the vault. He could have told them a long time ago how to get into it, but he hasn't. That's important. Because when Gomez goes to do it, he legitimately grabs the right book, and Fester's like, no, he's lying. It's this one. And it's a hurricane book, and Gomez realizes, oh, you old. It's a hurricane book that unleashes a hurricane. And during this, Fester gets struck by lightning. Let us hope for lightning. And, yeah. And then they get knocked out of the house into open graves that Wednesday and Pugsley have dug. And then they get buried alive, basically. And then we get lazy exposition. So it's revealed through some exposition from Gomez that actually, Gordon was actually the real Fester the whole time, and he lost his memory from amnesia and the Bermuda Triangle, and he's been gone all those 25 years, and he was found in the fishnet by the lady and raised as her own, her son, and he was the real Gomez the entire time, despite the fact that everything else in this movie says the contrary. And why is that? Because it is the contrary. Actually, it was not supposed to be Fester. The real Fester was supposed to be never found. It was supposed to be Gordon was just supposed to have a change of heart. And if you watch through the movie realizing that, like after I found out about that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm watching this and I'm going, why isn't he recounting some of these memories? Because the way amnesia works in movies and TV, at least, is that when your memory kind of gets rebooted a little bit, but every time they try to show him something, he can't remember it. I'm just like, and as I'm going through this, and I'm watching this at the end, he gets struck by lightning. Oh, he's got his memory back, and I'm like, wouldn't it make more sense if he was like learning, like if he was like finding out about this stuff and watching old footage and being told about memories as his memory's starting to like reboot and he's starting to remember things, whereas it's he gets struck by lightning, he's got his memory back, but throughout the entire film it's never played as if he's trying to remember. He turns on his mother and Tully because he's had a change of heart, but not because he remembers. And so it was supposed to be, he's just the new Uncle Fester. Because keep in mind, the one big thing I pointed out earlier, Fester, it has alopecia, cannot grow hair, born bald, shown in old footage. Because he wasn't supposed to be the real Fester. This guy can grow hair. It was just supposed to be a coincidence that he looked like Fester and they were going to take him in. So why was this tacked on? Well, because the cast did not like that they're just taking in some random guy who was trying to swindle them. So they sent Christina Ricci, a little 10-year-old Christina Ricci, in to tell the producers that they want it to be revealed that Gordon was Fester the entire time. But they didn't really do any reshoots other than just throw that in at the end. And it's literally never shown specifically. It's just that Gomez delivers it through some dialogue. So, yeah. And then we get the light bulb thing, which is cool because that's the old classic. Fester puts a light bulb in his mouth, and yeah. Oh, and I don't think Tully's wife cares that he's dead because she's with Cousin It now. Us hairy guys, we got to get the women, right? So where's mine? Well, he's hairier than me, so maybe that's what the problem is. I don't know. Cousin It. But yeah, I like this. I'm gonna give it a pretty good. The only part I didn't like was the whole Fester stuff. He's not Fester through the entire movie, so I'm hoping when I eventually do the other two, or at least values, that changes. Because I love Christopher Lloyd, and he did a good job, but for most of the film, he's not Fester. He's Gordon pretending to be Fester, and he changes his mind. And then they tacked on an ending where he's now acting like Fester because he regained his memory. And it's just like, okay, but I guess hindsight is 2020. Like, they couldn't afford to do reshoots to change things. But if it was written the entire time that this was supposed to be the actual Fester, then I would have added in some scenes where he starts to remember certain things and realizes he is the real Fester. What are you gonna do? So, what are your thoughts on the Addams Family? And when it comes to make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.